speaking of the World Cup, it's been 20 years since you first went to China, the first time you debuted for the U.S. So what does it feel like 20 years later going back?
You know, it's crazy. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years. It's hard to believe I'm going to China again. I think this is probably my 11th or 12th time. But also it's the World Cup, and for every soccer player out there, they dream to play in the World Cup. I'm going on my 5th, but it still feels just as great as the first one did. So for me, in that sense, it's so exciting. And with this group now, we've been training for 2.5 years since the Olympics. We've been working so hard, and now finally have the big event coming up. So our focus is narrowing down, the team's being finalized, and our thoughts and minds are headed to China.
Now, so many of the other senior players have already retired. You have a lot of new, fresh, young faces out there. So how has it been trying to get the team to remesh again and prepare for China?
It was real different in the beginning. Probably the first 3 months, I looked around, I didn't see my regular buds around. But you know, time goes and the team moves on. You know, this national team exists no matter who's playing. And now these new faces are becoming familiar faces. Well, they're familiar with me, to me now. But now to our fans, you know, we have players like Abby Wambach, Carly Lloyd, Catherine Whitehill, Lindsay Tarpley, Heather O'Reilly, Lori Kolupny, all these faces and names that are not so familiar but will be familiar come the World Cup. And really what I want people to know is these people are great soccer players, but they're great people. And once you start to see them play and hear what they have to say and how they interact with kids, it's great, and it's just time. It's time for people to recognize them.
Now, looking at your bracket, a lot of people are really confident about the U.S.'s chances going to China with where you guys are seated. How do you feel about the bracket? Do you feel like, you know, do you have that same sense of confidence?
The World Cup's the World Cup. You know, it doesn't matter who's in our group. You're going to have to play the best to be the best. We start off with North Korea, then we play Sweden, and then we play Nigeria. And each game is going to be hard. I haven't been a part of a World Cup that was easy. Everything's always been difficult. So I look at this, and I look to North Korea as our first opponent. And we got to just get out of our group. The goal is to get them as many points to be the top 2 in your group, and then move on to quarterfinals, and then we'll see who we'd play next.
Now, being the most experienced player on the national team, do you feel that added pressure, like everybody else on the team is looking to you for all the answers and looking for you to lead the way through the World Cup this year?
No, I don't think the players are looking at me for everything. I hope not. And if you look at what we've done in the past 2.5 years, you know, we've had so many different players step up, from scoring to you know, replacing players that have been here. Shannon Box went out, Leslie Osborne stepped in and made an impact right away. Carly Lloyd's now becoming a starter for us in the midfield. And players are scoring goals. Carly was our leading scorer in Portugal. Abby's scoring goals. Her goal to game ratio is by far out of this world. And our defense has been so strong. You know, with Kate Markgraf and Christy Rampone as the elders back there leading our back line. And in goal, Hope and Brianna Scurry. They've been, you know, keeping the ball out of our net. So it's definitely a team effort, and it always has to be.
Now, you said for sure, absolutely, this is your last World Cup. Is this really the last World Cup for Kristine Lilly?
This will be my last World Cup. I can't see another 4 years after this. That's one thing I can say. Whether it's my last year, I can't say that yet. I enjoy it too much, and I'm still making an impact, so it's something that's still feel in my heart. And until I lose that, we'll see what happens.